or sometimes difficult to kill. ETC ban. Will it be a first pick Brightwing on the side of DTS? I imagine that will be the likely call here.
Vola, ETC, Brightwing. Kona loves the hero. He also loves not picking talents. He hasn't been holding his talents the way he does sometimes.
His team's probably, listen, man, just play the
pick
game.
your talent.
Just play the game.
You got to change your Twitter bio at this rate, Kona. Okay, no, tomorrow... If they want the early Li Ming, or do they want something like Tassadar?
Sia Steve is now known as Savage Steve.
Wow, what'd he do?
That feeling when you're out of position hard. I'm guessing he's talking about Stray there. Calling you out. I like seeing some of the tweets, the tweets throughout this. We have a moment. Got one. Hero's been an emotional roller coaster for me tonight. That people are talking about the Towers games that have been going on.
The Towers games have been so good. What a fun map. Okay, no tomorrow going way into their bonus pool to the point where I'm going to check chat lobby. Man, they're just really thinking about it. So Tassadar does, in fact, get picked up. Do they go for the double shields just to try to complement that with whatever they want? You think about Tassadar, Zarya, you got Snap, Sustain, like by the bucket load, and it's really not that costly. Task Shield's really low. Cool. Ooh, what? I did not expect an early Muradin.
Especially over Malfurion, which could be banned out. It could be let through. Again, will we see the priority on the Assassins again? Will we see an early fall stat again? I mean,
This just feels like, okay, SkyTapple doesn't yell Johanna, but Stray does. Stray actually shouts Johanna at the top of his lungs like every day when he wakes up. He opens his eyes and just screams, Johanna! That's how much he loves that hero.
He call you in the morning? He like to tell you, hey,
I literally get wake-up calls. Johanna! He just hangs up immediately. That's how Stray feels about that hero sometimes.
I remember earlier this year, Nubarak was kind of popular during the second summer regional.
It's a dead hero. It doesn't even
I
exist.
don't see him now, but
no, he's... I miss my Beetleborg.
Give him his health pool back.
I don't know what they could do for him.
Give him his health pool back.
If they give him roller skates, I think he might function better. He's got like 9 legs. Watching him roller skate.
Why would he have an uneven amount of legs?
Shh. False ad.
This looks very familiar.
No, it doesn't. I've never seen this trap before.
Brightwing false ad early. Huh. Dumpster 2 did not do this in game. Oh, wait. Yes, they did. I got a feeling they won't be going Stitches Medivh on this map.
Nah, there's almost no chance. Dahaka. Triple global.
Wow.
Do they commit to it? Stray has played a fair bit of Dahaka on his day. Would it be the lone warrior? Now, if they lock in Dahaka here, it becomes... Okay. I was going to say, where does the prioritization of Zarya land? Because I still see Zarya being very good for Notamar. There's the Johanna. I told you, he just wakes up and he yells that name. He he was whispering it to his team, and they were like, no. Johanna. But he's like, Johanna. And then I locked it in. He just shouted it.
He's like, I don't care the rest of the draft. I got Johanna.
Shh, Johanna.
I like the Zeratul ban here. I like this a lot.
Johanna. Yeah, they're thinking about it. Okay. Zeratul has been locked out. Malfurion, an option. Zarya, another big option, in my opinion, for this next ban. Ooh, Sanctifications. Got them spooked.
That means Malfurion is let through again.
Yeah.
They can save that pick for last, or they can pick it up kind of in a safe spot right now. So there it is. That's why you pick an early Tassadar.
I'm glad we're finally seeing this. I mean, this is commonplace in Europe. We don't see as much of it in North America. We really don't. But it's an insanely powerful combo.
Yeah, Astral Authority started to bust that out a little. Excuse me, Gale Force started to bust that out a little bit when they brought Equinox on. A little bit more flexibility. Obviously, we know Crone can play that. really not a whole lot of teams doing that, but Li Ming being the next supplemental hero there to bring in some damage.
That's a lot of damage, though. Now, Tracer suffers with the lane clear a little bit in the early game. Right now, their lane clear seems a bit suffering overall. But that's something they'll have to think about. Moonburn from Malf can kind of be enough, I guess. That's an easy last pick.
Whoa, wait a minute. There's one way to deal with Tracer.
I like it.
All right, just so we can be aware of this, Suray actually put out, I think it might have even been, it was either a video or an article, put out the other day about how, like, Li Ming is good, but only as damage Li Ming. And he broke down reasons why. Tracer is one of them, because if you blind Tracer while she's in there, she's getting 0 value, forced to use up all of her blinks and recalls, and doesn't get necessarily near the value that you would generally get against a Tracer.
And she starts to hurt, too. Tracer has a small health pool. So, last pick will be a support here for No Tomorrow. Malfurion, the likely pick. Talked about Moonburn being nice to supplement all that lane clear, but of course, his kit in general is wonderful, and Tiger was landing some glorious Twilight Dreams in game number 1. So, wouldn't be a big surprise. There it is.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it from both sides, and I especially like the Lily. Special shout out to Haloran, caster out there, and I know he loves some Lily. I hope he's watching. He's getting his wish here. Some damage Lily coming out. We're going to see if Suray is right in his assessment of where Lily fits into the current meta and whether it's going to stack up here against Tracer.
I'm just looking at this. I'm curious who is going to be playing Lily. Probably Prismat?
It seems like it. He's more of like the flex.
I like the comp overall for DTS. But I think they're just... If they can't deal with Tracer, it's going to get out of control really quick. The Muradin, which we don't see picked up that early, is like part mind game, part he can go in with the Tracer to help pick up those kills. And that's going to be fun to watch. Let's going to see if we're good to go. Giving the players the okay, and once we have the readies up in the lobby, we'll begin Game 2 on Sky Temple. Guys, this is a best-of-5 series to qualify for the 2017 HGC season. And No Tomorrow currently up a 1-0 in our best-of-5.
I think the underdogs, or the presumed underdogs, are showing. And think about the team that they're facing against. This was actually a reformed team with Barrel Boys with McIntyre, but McIntyre got picked up by Denial. And so when we first saw that team form, we said there's an early favorite. And he ended up moving on, and we see No Tomorrow still very much viable. 1-0, man. Looking really good right now.
But it's not like they had an easy game 1. That was one for the records, man. A very intense match between these two teams. We've got our two teams loading on in. No Tomorrow on the blue. And let's introduce them. We've got Talking Trees on the Li Ming, Tiger JK playing Malfurion, Casanova on the Tracer, Jason going to be playing Tassadar, and then Urho on Murden.
And on the other side for Dumpster Tier, it's going to be Faye on Lily, Goku on Falstad, Iacona on Brightwing, Prismaticism playing Tychus, and your boy Suray on Johanna.
Johanna. All right, level 1. Anything weird? Pulse Strike, just going to have lots of meter. Going to try to get as many Pulse Bombs as possible. With Tracer, that's pretty much the story. Once you have your Pulse Bomb readily charged up, you've got that meter built, you look for a kill. And oftentimes, we'll see that attempted on heroes like Brightwing. Because Brightwing, she can poly and throw pixie dust on herself and pixie dust.
Let's talk about this though real quick. Level 1 talent for Falstad. He's picking up the Wingman, which is his version of Bribe. That's not something we see too often.
I love it on this map though. I wish we saw more of it. It's just, it allows you to maybe grab your opponent's Merc camps. Ooh. Almost got tours.
Caught it just in time. You know, this is one of the untold things that I sometimes forget about myself or Wingman, is that when you get the stacks and all that stuff, you permanently increase the damage of Lightning Rod by 5%. That's something that I tend to forget about.
Yeah, it's one of those nice little added things. The fact that they like made these custom talents that aren't just Bribe. Bribe is kind of flat on its own, but when you have added benefits like that, you can create new styles. Like we already saw that he likes to play with Static Shield. And if you have, you know, more of a W build, imagine a 1v1 where Tracer's deciding that she wants to try to gank Falstad, and suddenly he's getting all this extra shielding while she's throwing all her damage on him, but also it's doing a ton of damage to her in return.
Well, so far, a little bit of a trade, but right now, both temples being channeled.
All right,
the
blinds should be enough for Prismat to stay alive. Faye is so far forward. The missile's just barely missing. Wow, that was close.
This is a little bit too close for comfort. They have healed up. They've tapped. They're re-engaging. You see Casanova really low there on Tracer, really hard to re-engage into. Look at this. Falstad flew up to join the fight in the middle again. Both temples, for the moment, were being channeled by Dumpster Tier.
Hammer gains picked up, so it's not going to be a full-on hammer or a W build for that Lightning Rod.
It's just a matter of like how much can you afford to give up. We see Muradin holding it down, Talking Trees starting to join the fight there as Li Ming, but Prismaticism coming in as well on Tychus. On the other side, a lot of rotations back and forth in this early game.
Yeah, you see the temples going from one team to the next team, just flip-flopping back and forth, and as a result, you have these kind of half-destroyed walls in each lane. Looks like it was in favor of DTS as a whole, though.
Works out well. Again, we're seeing a lot of the same. Very even experience, very even in terms of the first game, but there's a good use of Wingman.
That's what we're talking about, yeah. Like, when you can slip on over in these kind of rotations and just grab that camp, that adds up. It's experience that you're taking away. It's experience you're giving to your team. And I don't know. I love it.
I kind of wondered if he would be able to get enough stacks to be able to save it for potentially the bruiser camp up at the top. But
maybe. He is rotating around a lot.
Steal it from the enemy. That's one way to do it.
Okay, well, they pick up their own giant camps. Knights picked up early here. Now, with the global presence of Brightwing, that will be cleaned up and not get a lot of value as the second temple begins in the bottom lane. Oh, but Trees is going to try to put pressure onto Iacona.
Yeah, Iacona will be able to self-sustain quite a bit as Brightwing, trying to clear out that camp as Johanna, as we see on the minimap, starting that camp up at the top right. Falstad about to come join the party. Get this before the second temple phase.
Yeah, this should be well-timed. They're well aware of that scenario, and that's why you see the pressure being put on here to the bottom lane. Any damage done, just going to benefit the temple if they're able to control it.
Just so you know, Iacona is back to being Iacona. He's now holding his talents again.
Yes.
All right, Prismat right.
He must have heard me.
Prismat right there is actually, he's staying in fire and he's getting those in the rhythm stacks. That's his level 4, which increases his minigun duration, I think by 0.03 seconds for every auto attack. And he auto attacks fast, so I can stack up quite a bit and do quite a bit of damage late in the game.
It does add up quickly. The other thing we got to point out here, Falstad held the Bruiser camp as long as it could, tapped it as soon as the temples were being activated and is staying in the top lane, escorting that. In the event that they just give up this temple, that would be a guaranteed top 4, but it's going to do a lot of damage regardless. Falstad just now flying down into the battle. Damage onto Trays. The heals will keep him topped off. Already Pulse Bomb used here from Tracer. Her kill potential has been reduced significantly for this fight, but the orb! Oh!
Prismat taking some big shots, and we do see a Calamity build coming out this time. No Seeker from the opposite side. Re-engaging, but Urho the entire time continue to channel a lot of these shots while Li Ming tries to fend them off. Goku! Wow.
Li Ming, I mean, Trees is just throwing out big damage right now. Sray doing his best to contest this bottom temple while Muradin is just hanging out down here. Uncontested. Top fort. We talked about the pressure from the Knights has just about fallen, and DTS decides they have had enough of this. They're going to just rotate elsewhere, concede that bottom temple's rest of its duration, and get some experience in this top lane.
It worked out really well, and the fact that they were able to stay on that temple the entire time was really good for No Tomorrow. Obviously, that top fort goes down. Great work by Falstad, but now it's time for the heroics to come into play. We are going to see Jugs, no Water Dragon.
I'm actually a bit surprised by that, but just think how hard this team is going to be to kill. Emerald Wind could be picked up here for Brightwing if they're worried about the Tracer going too deep and wanting to try to seclude her. Because if you're caught in the winds, it's not a very fun ride.
Well, we see another invasion coming in. Sray sitting on point. Again, the heroics are out. We see Avatar already used, but Mighty Gus not channeled all the way, and we can see the fight is going to rage on.
Where are the... Okay, they already used the cups. They're getting the heals in for the team. Goku so very low, and Prismat in the back, laying down the damage. Sray has stayed up here for so long, but unable to capture that camp for his team, and now he's dead. Faye will die to Tracer. Oh, as I say that, the Brightwing going to be able to get that support, throw out the polymorph, but they're not done quite yet.
They have nowhere to go. That fort is down. The grenade not going to do much. Prismaticism just going to sit there. He's going to try and get a few stacks. He has to sacrifice himself. Johanna went out on her shield. They stayed way too long for that fight.
They really did. I mean, you talk about Malfurion, Tassadar, and that's just so much sustained for the team. Brightwing did end up going for the blink heal to try to match all of that sustain, but
yeah, once the Jugs were down, it was just way too much to keep up with. So far, early advantages seem to be favoring No Tomorrow. Both camps picked up on their side. Next temple phase, though, in 10 seconds.
Yeah, double temple, mid and top. Experience still dead even. Structurally, the map's overall pretty close, but after that fight, No Tomorrow definitely have a slight edge. They're postured for this temple to capture it immediately, while we still have everyone here, or not everyone, but a couple members keeping this bottom lane in check.
They're keeping it in check. They've got an early channel going on. They're actually getting more value because they're doing self-damage from the heroes to that, which means those shots are going to be applied elsewhere. Johanna has now reached the bottom, though, trying to match some of this early damage.
One thing that we're getting for DTS is additional lane of soak, but they've realized this, that Prismat and Brightwing are down here. Twilight used to silence Lily. Goodbye, Faye. That's not going to be something you can get out of as that pulse bomb is applied.
Poor Lily's body did not look good flailing through there. Falstad somehow has taken over, at least for the time being, that middle temple, but Iaconda the whole time. He's got to be careful not to get stuck here. Casanova talking trees. Let's see if he can shift out. Does get out in time.
Phase shift. Just keep his life intact with the top fort. Has been destroyed, and the last few shots can be picked up here. 13 for No Tomorrow, with a really nice temple phase on their half, picking up that kill at the cost of Twilight Dream. Very much.
For a second, I thought you said phase shift. I was like, oh, phase shift.
Oh.
What if Faye played Brightwing? Could we rename it to phase shift?
We could.
Well, Temple Phase is ended. Full level lead on the side of No Tomorrow. So far in control as they have all 3 forts down. 2 still standing, at least barely, on the side of theirs. No Tomorrow, or excuse me, Dumpster Tier. We have to start making something happen before too long. Still early in the game for Sky Temple.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can happen at this point still. Boss with throw pits and collapses as DTS are trying to find their bearings as to what to do. Sray is quite for it. Safe in doing so, but Tracer's starting to drop that big damage. Brightwing's going to be in a dicey spot. The Pulse Bomb doing nothing. Gust forcing a few members back, and the Blink Heal to safety. Just going to be a disengage here with only Gust being spent, and oh, Bless Shield too. That's...
Well, they've got the re-engage again. There's nothing back there. We see the cleanse has been used onto Sray. Force Wall locks in Prismat, who just barely misses that orb.
Meridan's taking a lot of damage, but Tracer happy to oblige as that Twilight Dream only onto Sray. Cups are getting infinite value.
Yeah, the minute cups go up, that's when you know you got to back out, and you just showed that momentarily before, and we're looking at it again. That camp, man, did so much work in the meantime.
Every time you can force a fight and get a mercenary camp to do that much damage to the structures on a map like Sky Temple, it's a big victory for your team. They're already so far ahead, having, what, 1 point, let's say 1.1 fort still standing in the front of the map. If you can open up the keep walls, what, 2 of them have taken some big damage with more merc camps on the way? No Tomorrow has a sizable advantage going to another double temple phase.
Yeah, the thing about it is they just picked up another siege camp there, Jake, and you got to imagine we see Iacona on the minimap, but Stray already using his Iron Skin. Let's see if he gets caught out. They're staying on top of him. Pulse Bomb is there.
Pulse Bomb has been reset. You can build meter pretty darn quick, especially now that we do have the Bullet Spray picked up at level 13 from Tracer. A lot easier to get that energy built.
We're going to see when Brightwing decides to come up. Obviously trying to clear up the Siege Giants that are at the bottom. But right now it's a 5-on-4 for the meantime. Everybody pre-shielded.
Getting real up close and personal there. Stray contesting as the Brightwing bomb does fly on in. They're just trying to deny those free shots from being picked up.
They can't afford to continue to give up. Avatar was popped by Urho. Iron Skin used by Johanna. We're going to see if we see any follow-up at all. As the Arcane Orb continue to hit that back line, the Force Wall locks in Stray. Cleanse has been used, but out come the Jugs.
All right, Twilight Dream once again not getting a ton of value, doing a bit. This fight looking pretty good here for DTS, looking to re-engage right now. Stray goes on forward. Casanova in the back, being obnoxious. Does he have the rewind still? I don't think so. He's going to end up going down. Root's not going to be there quite in time, and Stray's looking to keep the fight alive.
The Condemn comes in. Stray is fighting all over them. Jason, though, very low. You can see the Force Wall continuing to lock them in. Excellent play by Iacona once again on Brightwing in the sense that he stayed at the bottom, cleared up not 1, but 2 siege camps that were pushing, and phase shifted in right at the proper time. And look at this. They're getting temple shots. Now they're looking at the top as well.
This more or less evens the game out. 16 just got locked in on the side of tomorrow, which is like moments too late, right? If they had that for that fight, things could have looked way different. But now that both temples are looking to be quite favorable for DTS, those 2 forts down, 16 locked in, and they're besieging that top lane.
They recognized that Falstad wasn't necessarily showing Lili was coming back. They should have a full 5-on-5. They don't want to be too aggressive, does know tomorrow, until Casanova gets here, and he has arrived. There's the phase shift to get in, Jake.
Immediately, you see Kona just retreating. Jason taking heavy damage, trying to hold on to the dimensional shift. But wow, even Lili's wind is just doing a lot of damage there.
That's the thing. You build it for this comp in particular, and it seems to be working out well. Urho getting back on. Just a few shots left. The next team should be able to channel the last few. Urho, the roots. Oh, still, there it goes.
Yeah, good roots. Stray's trying to lock in Urho. Okay, there goes the Avatar. Very early in the fight, Gus has been spent as well as they're trying to focus on Casanova. Goku on the chase towards that Tracer. Ice Block was forced out on Tiger JK, getting a solid Tranquility, but that signals the call of the Jugs.
The call of the Jugs is big. The grenade giving a little bit of extra push for No Tomorrow to kind of retreat out of there. So it did kind of work in their favor, but we have a very, very even game right now.
Feels like game 1. I mean, really well played from both teams in game 1, and the same story once again here. Falstad hasn't been able to use his wingman too much. He might be trying to pick these up safely on his own. Not going to go for the aggressive camp, as that is way too risky at this point in the game.
Yeah, I just checked. He was at full stacks. He had a full 80. Just used half of those on 2 of the siege camps. We'll see if he finds an opportunity, as all the other camps seem to be picked up in the meantime.
Global presence in favor of DTS, keeping that Brightwing in top for not only the soak towards 20, but oh, this is really risky.
Activated.
I mean,
it's like they're baiting it out. Like they just picked up the camp right beside them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just playing cheeky, trying to force them to stay down here, allowing that top lane to go in favor of DTS. But they're looking for the fight. Beautiful juke by Stray and Prismat.
Okay, so I did a quick check. We have 3.84 bonus seconds on Tychus's minigun.
Oh, wow.
Not a tremendous amount, but a very effective amount when you look at total seconds that will be active. And he went, that's the stuff, at 13, which is going to heal him for 100% of the bonus damage done during that minigun phase when it's active.
Looking for the fight, forcing the phase shift onto Faye this time. And Jason is their target, taking a lot of damage. Tassadar hard to kill. But Goku, he just gets the heal through pretty much all of that. The power of that Pixie Shield at level 13.
The later this goes, you got to be real careful. This boss is far more impactful. If you lose a team fight, especially down here, you can get that temple, and which will do shots towards the bottom. That's very difficult to deal with.
Heals coming out left and right. Mertcamp still pushing through the top lane. A win for GTS, but they need to take this fight.
Prismat getting rooted in there. The cleanse is out. The jugs are already up, but the Twilight Dream has been used. The jugs can't keep him alive. Pulse bomb secures the kill onto Prismat. Are they done yet, Jake?
Wow, Tiger, though, is taking a lot of damage. Jason's incredibly low as well. Tracer just going in and doing as much damage as possible. And the Roots confirm the kill on Lily. Sray should be the next target in their sights as Li Ming gets reset after reset. And DTS are on their back foot.
They are on their back foot. It looks like they're going back for the boss. The minute they get the boss, they should be able to send somebody down to start the temple as well. That temple will be firing on the bottom keep, softening it up for the boss. I'm a little bit surprised they haven't sent somebody down there just yet. That would soften up the keep so much and then start to threaten the core with this boss.
This is really tough. 20 is basically here when you consider this boss plus this temple. Yes, this Mertcamp made it through the wall, but not much more. Having that pushed in is like a blessing and a curse. You want to soak the top lane experience at this point in time. You're going to be down level 20, but it's not something Brightwing can safely do. It's far away from this fight, but she has to go to this mid lane. Now, Kona's going to do it. He's going to be relatively safe in doing so, knowing that everyone's here. But 20...
All right,
and
here's the thing. Down. That keep did go down, but the problem is that Urho is just now joining his team. He's not here for the fight, and this boss is going down pretty quickly, and Urho would have been a huge engagement tool. That's why I said you needed it right away. This still could be game, but right now the boss at about 50% health. The Roots shield's just now going down.
Goku gets blown up. Beautiful there. Tiger gets the Roots. He also gets the Twilight Dream. It's looking like a 2-0 here for No Tomorrow. I don't think they can stop this, J-How.
They can't. It is down 15%, and it is game number 2. Going over to No Tomorrow. They were able to pull it out, and that boss, like I said, all it took was that team fight and a boss. We saw them